Good morning, Lina.
Good morning, Sanwabo. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Excellent. We are doing very, very well. I'm based in Bangalore, India, and the weather is fantastic.
The weather is fantastic. It's good to hear. Look, this is your first time, I'm sure, on such an environment or platform. We are just to give you a perspective. We are live right now on StreamYard, and we're streaming the voice to the radio. And we're streaming all the video to our 3 social media platforms, which is your Facebook, your YouTube, and your Twitter. So that's where we are right now. Okay.
Great. I'm really, really delighted to be joining you on this program. And hello to all of you out there in Africa.
Hello, all of you there in India, and people are going to watch the show post our conversation. We normally treat the show as a conversational platform where we feel at ease. We talk about things, and we had an opportunity to go through some of the good things that you do in your environment. You've got a very good ecosystem, I think. Your solution is admirable. And one or two questions I might ask you just to poke you as you're going to be presenting. What support do you offer to SMMEs and startups? Okay, especially in the Agritech space. In Africa, if we look at Africa and we look at the world, we need to look at food security. So technology or digitalizing small-scale farmers in Africa, it will add value to the rest of other countries where we can export from Africa too. And also it will improve the socio-economic conditions in Africa. I'm sure we all want Africa to be a self-sustaining continent. If you are engaged in Africa right now, please also cover which countries in Africa are you really active at right now, okay? The last question, just to be in your mind as we go through the conversation or as you present before the conversation is, EU, we work very closely with EU. We've had EU people speaking on our platform since beginning of February. EU has got expertise in software. EU has got expertise in hardware technologies. And also very advanced in agri-tech space. I know through the EU Tech House, they want to export technology that can improve productivity, quality of produce in Africa to ensure that they receive quality products when Africa exports to them. What is and when I say is GBI, the role in getting the technology to Africa? Just to ensure that you're supporting Europe. I know you're dealing with Europe. And I think on that note, let me leave it to you to present. Then we can have a chat afterwards.
Fantastic. Great questions. And I think that's really the purpose and the mission of GBI to solve and address those questions on Wabo. And when we set up, I've been doing this for over 2 decades, 22 years now. And GBI was set up about 13 years ago. In this year, it will be 13 years. And the main reason was that technologies exist in some parts of the world. And there are so many problems to be solved in other parts of the world, and which also creates, when there's a need, there's a market opportunity, basically. So our mission is to really connect these technologies to markets where they and also sometimes even create the market opportunities so that technologies can be accessed and deployed. So That brings
Mm.
me, to the first part of, letting everybody know, who is GBI. So we are a 12, 13-year old international biz
Sorry,
technology
Lynn,
and
apologies.
innovation
Can you increase
management.
your volume a little bit?
Sure. Can you hear me now? I'm coming closer.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes. Thank you.
great. Yeah. So, as I mentioned, GBI, our expertise is in technology transfer and project management. So, when you look at bringing technology access, right, it's one thing to know that technologies exist in Europe and India, and they need to be brought to Africa. The question is how and why. So we've addressed the question why. There's clearly a need. Now the question is how do you really do it? And that's what GBI was set up to do, was to create the kind of network and process that would enable technology companies to showcase their solutions to regions and countries around the world that need them. Then how do you kind of scan and scout and then select and then eventually deploy? So that's really how we set out to create a platform and a company that does this. So today we are present in India. We are headquartered here, but we also have offices in Europe and America and the UK, the United Kingdom, with projects in the Asia Pac, which is in countries like Malaysia and South and Sri Lanka as well. In Africa, to be honest, we have been engaged. We've been engaged by the EU to look at evaluating some projects, deploying technology solutions from Europe into Africa. We've had multiple discussions with South African stakeholders, with West African stakeholders from Nigeria, the Ivory Coast, etc., looking at concrete projects that they had where they wanted technology solutions. So in the end, what we do is we really bring together a series of networks on one hand, and I'm just going to talk to you first of all about our networks, and then we next stage I'll talk to you about the process, which is what we are trying to address. And via that, actually, some of the questions that you've already outlined to me. So if you look at Europe, we are the business cooperation center of the Enterprise Europe Network, which really brings together about 600 member organizations, for example. That's just to give you a sense. And through our UK offices, bring a very strong network with the UK ecosystem. And through our Northern American offices, bring connect there to that ecosystem. And then, as mentioned below, to some other ecosystems where we've done programs and projects with. And
Mm-hmm.
to bring all of that together, we have created an online platform. And here, you see the four words, the four Ds, as I call them, to really create access to technology. We have created this www, you can check it out, it's globaltechinterface.com, where tech companies can display their technologies. So now companies in Africa who are looking for these solutions can join as technology scouters, and put up what are their project and technology needs on the platform. Then offline, we kind of we connect with. So once you register onto this platform as a technology scouter, we connect with you to understand what is your requirement and help you connect both online and offline with technology companies that would require that would be able to address your requirement. So yes, all of you out there, if you want to make your first step towards accessing technologies from
Your,
India, Europe,
your
and around the
slides are not
world.
moving, Lena.
Yeah, no, we are on the global tech interface slide. Is that the same slide that you're seeing?
We've
Global tech
got the first
interface.
slide. We don't. You've not moved to the second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me I'm moving it now. Can you see it move?
No, it has
I'm
not
on
moved
slide
yet.
3. So, but you're still on slide 1, is it?
I'm
What do
still
you
on slide
suggest I
one.
do?
Let's.
What do you suggest?
Okay, continue talking.
Okay, so maybe I can just escape slide share mode and just reshare again if you wish. Can you see things change now? Can you see the slides change now?
I've removed the slide. Can you reload it?
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has changed now.
Oh, it changed now. Okay, fantastic. I
Yes.
think we are somewhere progressing. So I will just reshare. Yeah. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, can you see the GTI slide, the Global
We
Tech
are on
Interface?
GDI slide. Thank you.
Excellent. So then we are all set. Sorry about that glitch, but yeah, so here is again the link to what I was sharing as a concrete opportunity for African companies to really, whether you're in the agri-tech space or any other sector, and you aren't looking at digitizing, or if you're looking for clean energy solutions, renewable energy, or any kind of waste management technology solutions, supply chain solutions, it's your opportunity here to sign up as a technology scouter on globaltechinterface.com and share your requirement. There's a section where you can introduce your company or your organization, and then share your technology or project requirements. And once you sign up, there will be somebody from the GBI team that who will contact you in any case to help you through this particular process. So that's the beginning of the process. And then the second thing, as I said, once you display, so once you, let's say, you showcase what you need. So similarly, if you're a tech company with a technology solution from anywhere in the world, including Africa, you can also showcase your technology as a technology displayer. So once you complete that first step, we also support in a very hands-on way. Let us say if you are a tech company wanting to enter the African market, we support with market research, identifying the needs of the market and so on and so forth, identifying local use cases and technology viability assessments and developing an ecosystem. Most importantly, once there is a potential opportunity, it is to be able to facilitate and connect with meetings with potential, partners and customers and so on and so forth. So this kind of hands-on process kind of supports the online platform to really connect technologies to market opportunities in Africa. And again, if you see broadly, you've asked me about the agri-tech sector. I just want to give you an overview of the three geographies: Europe, India, and Africa. So you see
Okay.
there are multiple sectors that are growing in Europe, for example. And the agriculture sector, one of the things that's happening in Europe, for example, is the agriculture robot market is currently witnessing robust growth, and farmers are rapidly employing agriculture robots for aerial data collection, field mapping, fertilizing, and environmental monitoring, and so on and so forth. So similarly, in if you look at India, India's growth in the overall digital ecosystem offers a model for developing countries over the past 5 years. If you see the kind of developments India has made, whether it is in the education sector, health, agriculture sector, it's really through the adoption of technology and the right kind of processes as well. And then if you look at a country like Africa, it is the world's second biggest and most densely populated continent, really. And there are very big opportunities, in the agriculture sector, in the renewable energy markets. There's a lot of mining activity happening, in Africa. We've actually studied the five different regions of Africa, whether it is east, west, north, south, or central. And each of these countries actually have different interests when it comes to access to technology, whether it's digital or clean tech, for example, or med tech, as well. So, and based on that, we are very keen to start programs that, in a very hands-on way, really addresses action on the ground where technologies can be brought in. And I'm going to come to that in a bit, Sorwabo, where I'm giving you some generic information now, and then
It's fine.
I want to
We
talk to
appreciate.
the audience concretely as we move down in this conversation, where I'd like to share that GBI has designed some strategic services to support European tech to enter India and Africa, and Indian tech to actually enter the African market. India and Africa have had a very, very good relationship over the years, and there are so many Indian companies that are already present in Africa, so we've had a very good relationship. Europe has also, been a strong supporter of growth in Africa, and there are some, areas we have seen. For example, Europe has expertise in hardware technologies and advanced technologies in the agricultural sector, and these technologies can be transferred to the Indian and African markets. India has expertise in software and the energy sector, which can be transferred to Europe and Africa. And similarly, there are some very good African companies that can be promoted to India and Europe. So these we are talking about this through some of the concrete conversations we've been having also with African organizations, apart from European and Indian. And just to give you some case studies, for example, we've been running this India Europe digital networking session, and there's a reason I'm talking about this, to give you a sense of how concretely one can do this, where we've been providing Indian digital solutions to the European market. And we've done multiple sessions so far and organized over, I think, 150 B2B meetings between Indian and European companies. And here is a description of requirements. And I'm sharing this because to do concrete business, even African organizations need to be very clear and concrete about their requirements. Sometimes we say we want agri-tech solutions, we want digital, but that's very broad. What exactly do you want, within the agriculture sector? What is it that will concretely change things for you and change, both the technology and commercial perspectives of your business? So we have started a methodology, like on the Global Tech Interface platform, we collect the requirements in this very detailed format. For example, a German automotive company looking to collaborate with Indian digital companies providing solutions in mobility automotive sector,
Mhm.
which looks at optimizing maintenance capabilities and processes through technologies, including sensors and software solutions, or AI technologies combined with human expertise that can optimize processes. So I would encourage African companies to define their requirements and share it on the GTI platform, and we can also help you do that. Often we get even European companies saying, I want this, and then technology managers from the GBI team can talk to an African company and help them kind of build out this kind of requirement. So this is a very important step in when you build technology access into any sector, be it agriculture or any others, like you're seeing here, manufacturing, automotive, and so on and so forth. Right. Another concrete example is, here we have helped a Portuguese company that has a platform that aggregates environmental data uh,
Mhm.
to really enter the Indian market. And here we help them with business development, with matchmaking them with different types of stakeholders. We did qualitative and quantitative market analysis, we did technology evaluation, and we had set up meetings and workshops with the local stakeholders for them. Another concrete example that I wanted to share today with all of you is one that brought together Europe, India, and Africa. So we had a French startup, which is called Meditech, and they have digital solutions to actually track any kind of anomalies when you supply drugs, across borders. And
Okay.
they wanted to connect with an Indian pharmaceutical company that is supplying medical drugs and pharmaceuticals to Africa. And we help them basically connect with an Indian company that is operating in sub-Saharan Africa, to whom they can offer this solution. So in a sense, when you look at it today, you want to connect global ecosystems to ensure that the right solutions kind of approach the right markets. So sometimes, we don't know what kind of company is going to approach us, and that's the beauty about GBI. So every project and everything that we solve is based on the problem that exists. So if the African agricultural agri-tech or the agriculture sector has a set of concrete problems they want to solve with digital technologies, we are happy to understand that, go deep, and then make the connects with the appropriate, solution providers from, say, India or Europe, for example. So, and if you see, to illustrate a little bit about what I'm trying to say, we've done this kind of ecosystem development at the India EU level that I just talked about. At the EU India level, we've done programs in digital, green tech, and biotech cooperation. And now, we are very happy to say that we are in the process of setting up an India Africa digital cooperation platform here. And this is the concrete opportunity for African companies to collaborate with Indian digital tech companies based on their specific requirements. And agriculture, for example, is a huge sector, and there could be anything from IoT to e-commerce to developing an app, or traceability, right? Looking at traceability kind of digital solutions for somebody who's from, let's say from farm to market, as they say, or from farm to fork, right? So there are a number of traceability solutions also that are available. So here is the opportunity now for African organizations to share what are their concrete digital requirements. And if you want to kind of look at this platform and how we plan to take this forward, and I'm very happy to also get your feedback, because we are thinking about doing things in Africa, and we want to connect with hundreds of organizations in Africa. We want to create a platform with Africa, where African organizations that have lots of requirements, because Africa is a huge geography, can share that. And that's why we have a digital platform like GTI to collect all of these requirements. So once we collect these requirements, we will contact you, we will understand, concretize your requirement, and then we will set up meetings for you. So we want to do a series of events where in every event, the African companies get to meet about 3 to 4 different suppliers of solutions from India. And then post the event, also facilitate follow-up interactions, because when you look at technology collaboration, it may be sounding simple through my presentation, but there's a lot of hand holding that both the African and the Indian companies will meet. There are cultural differences, there are time differences, there are differences in the way we think, and scale and opportunity and size of the opportunity. So building something like this will also take time, and so we are very happy to get feedback from the African audience as well as to how this would work. But remember one thing, we have to be concrete and about doing some real concrete business. Often sometimes people just talk, there is no seriousness, or they so it's for GBI, we want to work with those players who are very clear with their requirements and who are serious about getting into business partnerships, because the players we bring, whether it's from India or Africa, are serious companies, and who have very good backgrounds, and they want to do some concrete business with Africa. So this is, a quick, some of the quick suggestions I have, Sonwabu. And like I said, if you have a technology requirement, do share it as a tech scouter on our globaltechinterface.com. Or I would also encourage you to email me. For those of you who can see the slide, my email is up. It's lthomas@globalbusinessinroads.com. So I would encourage you to drop me an email as well with things. So we want to support African SMEs and startups in the agri-tech space in a very concrete way, Sonwabu, to answer your question. And I hope I've been able to, through my presentation, share, how we can do that as well. So yeah, I'm going to pause for a bit to get some reactions.
Okay, I think you can remove your slide so that we can have a chat.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've just stopped sharing.
Yeah. So thank you very much. Very informative, very detailed. But we need to get to a point where we've got a discussion, a conversation. And tell me if I'm wrong, and I'm gonna say this to you. So you guys do business to business engagements.
So we call ourselves technology and innovation managers, really.
Yeah.
So we where we understand the requirements and
Mhm.
the business needs of an organization,
Mhm.
and then we do the required research and connections. So when you use the word B2B, it's sometimes people do these speed dating events. Where you come to a room, and that's not what we do.
That's
But
not what you do.
the meeting is a part of the journey, as I can put it
Yes.
that way. But
Mhm.
really, this is about technology and innovation management, where you're
Mm.
looking at understanding the needs of a specific sector and connecting them with concrete tech companies. And then once you connect, you're going through the process of bringing two very different companies together, and then also following up with them. So we do also research to business activities, we do overall ecosystem building activities sometimes, where there are programs in which we have actually connected 40 European incubators with 40 Indian incubators to get their startups to exchange and transfer knowledge as well. So it can be done at a broad ecosystem level and at a concrete technology management level as well.
Okay. So for someone who's just joined, you look at innovation, project management, business opportunity development, institutional capabilities. So you support the whole ecosystem, and it must be defined. It must be with people that are serious in wanting to do business. It must not be people that just wants to waste time. So look, I think your platform, I think your approach is a very good approach. And one, you've just mentioned that you link incubators across the different continents. If there's incubators that exist in South Africa, would you link them to incubators that are based in India, form that linkage and see if they can work together?
Absolutely, we have done that in the past, and we can definitely do that. For the African ecosystem.
Okay, because Picta works in different countries in Africa. We work with an incubator in Zimbabwe. We work with an incubator in South Africa, and few others that we engage, but we've not really signed a partnership. But we know, we understand, which is, I think, our coexistence or collaboration as we go into the future. I think it will add value in that I can link you to incubator, an incubator in based in Port Elizabeth. Now it's called Kabeja. I'm sure it will give you a tongue twist. Port Elizabeth now is called Kabeja, Lina.
Okay, okay.
And the CEO of the incubator actually is online talking at 12 o'clock today. I'm talking to this one of the CEO of the incubator. So you know we're all working towards the addressing the SDGs, right?
Hmm.
And between India or the rest of the continent and Africa, I think one of the most important SDGs for me in PICTA is SDG 1, which looks at poverty. Okay.
Hmm.
We're looking at SDG 5, advance. Look, and I'm happy I'm talking to a the opposite gender or a woman, because achieving gender equality and empowering of women and girls is very important to us. Okay,
Hmm.
um, in your experience, or are there a lot of women companies that are coming forward in the IT space or in the technology space, or are you consciously also looking out to support these women and girls in the space?
It's wonderful that you asked this question, Sonwabo. I've just been invited actually by the UN's agency, World Intellectual Property Organization, to address women entrepreneurs from the Asia Pacific region on March 8th on Women's Day. about building networks and creating opportunities for women entrepreneurs. So
Mhm.
yes, we have started to look at this much more closely. There are today, whether it is Europe or India, women leaders are coming up in all sectors, definitely in the technology sectors as well. But as you rightly said, one has to work towards empowering, because there are some women who are pushing the glass ceiling and moving forward, and some clearly need the support to do that. So
Mhm.
we are very happy to do that. And in fact, we recently got engaged by the Lithuanian government to build a women's technology entrepreneur bridge between Lithuania, which is such a small country in the European Union, and India. And India has some hubs and incubators focused just on women entrepreneurs. There is one called the We Hub in Telangana state that focuses just on empowering women entrepreneurs with state and national government funding. There are associations which are focused just on women entrepreneurs again. So there is a big drive in India now to create a platform for women entrepreneurs to ask small questions, big questions. But the important thing for success and growth is for women to know where they can reach out to, what kind of support they can get, and take one step at a time every day to move forward in that direction. Because I think it's important for them to know that there are networks today all
Mm.
around the world that are
Mm.
just being created, whether it's the United Nations and WIPO that I just talked about. And I'll be happy, if you all are following me on social media, you will receive the invitation to join that discussion as well. There are going to be a series of presentations just supporting women entrepreneurs. And then there are a lot of networks in Europe. There are networks in India. I'm sure there, and I mean, I've already also met some very interesting networks in Africa, for women entrepreneurs. And one of them actually is focused on the agriculture sector. And I had a very interesting discussion with them about, how can we help these small farmers, and people in the agriculture business in Africa with solutions. And I think there is a very big opportunity to create an exchange platform between India and Africa, because India and Africa have quite a few similar problems. We have the rich, and then we have the part of the world that is still living under the poverty line. And so even the
Mm.
Indian government has so many initiatives to really empower this segment, and digital solutions is going to really help actually these communities catapult. So one of the suggestions I have is building an India Africa bridge, just focused on empowering, the bottom of the pyramid, so to speak. Because and there's a lot we can exchange on what's happening in India to start with, which Africa can
Mm.
very easily emulate.
Okay, thank you. I think just to close that particular one, um, we we need to consider, maybe we need to consider how we collaborate and work together, especially with women. Pacta is got a vision within Pacta, which is women in digital era. Okay,
Mhm.
it's WIDE in short, WIDE in short. It's led by a doctor. She is Dr. Shwama Hamunyela. She's based in Namibia. And I work very closely with Europe through patients. So maybe let's look at entrepreneurship as well on how to support women, even in South Africa. If we can have that working relationship, I'm not sure, think about it. We are engaging with an organization as well that is based in Uganda. So maybe let's look at that. I'm very passionate about women development.
Sure, absolutely. We'd be very happy to do that.
On the 8th of March, we've got a webinar on women,
Mhm.
breaking the stereotype, gender stereotype. But it's playing. It will be at night on your side. It's playing at 1800 hours South African time.
Mhm.
that we've got very powerful ladies that are going to be addressing the stereotype and looking at different at the industry and at university level. Okay.
Excellent.
Um, if I can see on the your focus is on SDG 17, where we look at sustainable development, where you're looking at things like technology, science, and capacity building as major pillars in your rollout or in your on your platform. I think my suggestion and my proposal is that let's look at how GBI and PICTA can work together on 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 addressing certain challenges. South Africa and the rest of Africa, especially rural and peri-rural areas, there's a challenge of one, dissemination of information. Two, there is a challenge of there's not a lot of youth that are doing the STEM subjects. Okay,
Mhm.
what can we do to make that difference or link PICTA or link for us to work together so that we build from the grassroots, and you find with your platform, you find people that are ready with ideas or prototypes that are ready to take to the market so that you can take them to new markets and commercialize them.
Absolutely. In fact, India has also been on this drive, and there is a whole process that is very well charted. In fact, I recently co authored a book called Successful Innovation Systems, which traces the growth of the innovation ecosystem of 12 countries from around the world, right from New York to Bangalore, where I'm from, or Sofia, like Bulgaria, for example, and 12 countries like that. And I would encourage, it's available on Amazon. So if you want to read more and about how different innovation ecosystems have done this, right, how have they encouraged the youth to set up tech companies and really grow them, you there are case studies from 12 countries there. The book again is called Successful Innovation Systems. And but in a very concrete way, we can again set up a very strong exchange between, for example, say how Bangalore city did this, and how this can be exchanged with other cities, how other cities can learn from the Bangalore model. And I'd be very happy to facilitate that. Like, how are we getting more youth to pick up, not just study STEM subjects, but also start technology driven companies that have an impact? So there is one thing that you can have, an e-commerce platform that does clothes, but then what about an e-commerce platform for a sustainable fashion brand that uses sustainable textiles? So there are so many things that one can do looking at sustainability and access to technology. And Bangalore and the India ecosystem has really done that quite well. So we can certainly create a platform where cities, state governments, regions in Africa could learn and adopt some of the best practices.
Okay, tell me something. Let me just ask a question. On your, as we were doing, or as I was doing research on your website, there's a statement that GBI assist or enable they have basically, and I've summarized it, the availability of affordable technological solutions, development and dissemination of information between India and Europe. And now you want to do it, you've added a third leg, which is Africa. How do you manage as an organization to make available affordable technological solutions?
So we actually track these affordable technology solutions, especially a lot of them come out of India currently.
Okay.
We also on our globaltechinterface.com platform, there are some of these companies listed, but also there are some African organizations as well, who have created these kind of low cost solutions. There are also European ones. There are young entrepreneurs who want to make a difference through their
Mm.
life, and they go about trying to see how they can solve poverty, how they can solve issues on water treatment, because so many parts of the world actually still don't have access to clean drinking water. how can waste be managed more efficiently and in a more low cost way? How can you have a lower cost energy solutions, and how can we use, let us say, technology to make it easier for farmers to access markets? So things like that. So there are, we've done some programs where we have put out clear requirement statements of what is required and then scouted these kind of solutions from around the world. So we have a small database of these solutions, and plus, if there is an African region or a group of people that want certain type of affordable solutions to come in, we can actually put out a innovation call on the online platform and scout for these solutions from all around the world. So GBI works with around 50 to 60 tech clusters from around the world, and who kind of are aware of the kind of tech scouting calls we put up. And when we put them up, it becomes a business opportunity for their tech company that's providing a low cost solution, and then addressing a problem or challenge here in Africa.
I think, yeah, well said. One of the last things, you've got a statement, and I like the statement when I saw it. GPI focuses on technology and deployment to solve global challenges and create social impact. You've got social impact and you've been around for a while. I understand what you do on the technology side. I understand what you do on the deployment side. And I can sum up in my head how you, through technology and deployment, you solve the global challenges. But do you, what social impact have you left behind? Whether in India, whether in Europe, social impact is very important. It means you've made a difference in communities that you engage with. PICTA is a social driven or community driven organization where we have to make an impact every day, whether social, that relates to economic. It's not all about transaction and engagements and interactions. It's about what do you see on the ground, what do you leave behind. And I'm going to give you an example so that as we talk, I said it's going to be conversation.
Yeah.
We Since last year, September to December, we have made a difference to just under 100 children on digital skills, online training. And we're pushing this year to achieve 1,000. We're sitting at about just under 200 again, but we are pushing so that by end of this year we are at 1,000. So we can point. There's a social impact. Walk me through that.
Sure. So, that's a question we ask ourselves every day, Sonbabu, about the work we are doing over the last 12 years. And we try to do this, within a certain systematic process, because if we do not create those networks and process, you cannot be consistent to do this. And we also have to think about creating a sustainable business model, for the company. But this is the main thing we ask ourselves every day: what is the problem we are trying to solve? So over the last decade or so, I think some of the major impacts we've been able to contribute is, when it came to in India, I mean, some of the projects that I was directly involved in, we never had a strong scaled up solar program. And I was very involved in actually developing frameworks for scaling solar deployment in the country at a
Mhm.
time when the country didn't even have a policy to do this. And I'm talking over a decade ago, basically. And it was wonderful to actually see, when you're doing your work, you don't see the impact of it, but you see
Yeah.
the impact of it years later. But you need to be consistently on it. So if you needed to bring renewable energy access to India, we worked with companies that provided this. That time even the technology wasn't available in India. We had to kind of connect various tech companies to people, let us say EPC companies in India who could do that. then financing was not available. So we had to bring together, whether it's public sector or private sector. So we actually, I'm not saying we were the only ones who did it, but
Mm,
we were very
yeah.
actively involved in that process. So around the solar system, I can very proudly say that I've been through the day when even a policy didn't exist, solar projects didn't exist, to now where India, every home is trying to use solar in India today. Similarly, the transformation from regular bulbs to LED lights, right, which actually saves your energy bills by about 80%. People didn't
Mm,
even know what LED lights were when I started to promote LED lights in India, through the work we were doing, in terms of introducing the concept of LED lights. And today, every home in India, is knows about LED lights and is looking at, and there are, you can buy an LED bulb anywhere you go. Similarly, we did. We also kind of built a very good, unique program to suggest various kind of clean transport solutions for buses in India, as well. And very recently, actually, one of the projects I'm very, very excited about doing for the last 2 years is we are looking at the landscape restoration and biodiversity for a state in India. So I think this is a problem I've also seen in Africa, where when you've done unsustainable agriculture, there remains, acres and
mm,
hectares of arid
mm,
land which cannot be
mm.
used anymore. So we are, along with European partners, we have designed a project that, that looks at restoring 150 acre hectares of land, and there are tribal communities that are living, who have lost their livelihood because of the land, becoming arid. And we are looking at ways to empower, close to 10 villages in that zone, with the right kind of sustainable agriculture and landscape restoration solution. So this is an ongoing project for us, that we are doing, where we are talking to the local mobilizers and identifying the various solutions, connecting and enabling the communities to do the needful. So yes, it's not an easy journey and lot of work to be done, but creating an impact is very much a part of the work we do. And even when we set up a B2B matchmaking platform, right, to digitally enable companies, it is really creating a social impact, because at the end of the day today, if companies don't digitally enable themselves, I think survival will become a question mark, right? So
Mm.
the markets have become closer, in the sense that because of digital, you could be talking to anyone. I mean, look at, I'm not in Africa today, I'm in Bangalore, but we are sharing, and we are doing business across geographies because of digital platforms. So if today, and especially during this pandemic, I can't say post pandemic because we are still living in the pandemic, being able to have access to solutions, know where they are available, enter into business partnerships, because nobody is going to give it to you without a business engagement. And one of the biggest things people need to realize about social impact, to make it sustainable, there has to be a sustainable business model. Otherwise,
Yes.
you're depending on grants. And the minute you're depending on grants, it's like sitting with a begging bowl asking for money every 12 months. But if you can create a business model where entrepreneurs can get together and help each other grow and make money, then you create a more long lasting social impact. So so that's the angle GBI has taken, that we need to create sustainable business models to make technology viable wherever it is used.
Thank you. I think from my side, you've exhausted the questions that I had. From GBI side, what's your parting line of saying goodbye? What do you want to say?
Well, actually, I've been really wanting to come to Africa for the last 2 years, and because of the pandemic, I have not been able to, make a visit. I still tried, and my parting shot is I'm really happy to, to meet you, Sonvabo, and know about Paekta, and to join this initiative. And my parting shot is, there is a lot of very clear opportunity for collaboration, for some real action. And, I look forward to really building some good relationships and visiting Africa soon.
Um, Before we leave, I think I'm going to play a jingle, then come back to you. There's one or two things I want to say to you. Then we can say goodbye to listeners and people who are going to watch.